Good morning. Welcome to another session of EE 403 Distributed Generation and Smart Grids. In the last session we had seen microgrid islanding scenarios. Today we will continue with the same topic. But before we proceed, let us see a quote by Abraham Lincoln. I'll prepare and someday my chance will come. So we are in module 3 now. So we are seeing different islanding scenarios. So this is a typical microgrid protection schemes with circuit breakers in every feeder, sectionalizing circuit breaker between the feeders, then MCBs, then circuit breaker for in between the PCC and the utility. And this is a line diagram which you have seen, 3 feeders. Feeder 1 having CB1, feeder 2 having CB2, feeder 3 having CB3 and CB4 to connect and disconnect the utility from the microgrid. So we had already seen fast separation from the faulted feeder and prevention of spurious separation or nuisance separations. And today we will see non-fault separation. Sometimes it is essential for separating the microgrid from the utility grid even if there is no fault. We will see that. And then separation from exporting microgrid. So we have to separate sometimes the microgrid, exporting microgrid from the utility, and then resynchronization. So coming to separation under non-fault condition. So can you imagine some situation where there is no fault but still we want to separate? So this will typically happen when there is some low voltages, some open phases, some imbalance, etc. Okay, we will see them one by one. So sometimes low voltages may occur under non-fault conditions. It's just like a open phase. So if there is a under voltage, it is desirable for the microgrid to stay connected with the utility. It is not good to disconnect every now and then. So we remain connected with the utility, and at the same time the utility will try to solve this issue. Okay. So the microgrid and the utility may negotiate a trip control to coordinate with the voltage limits for balanced voltage condition as specified by SEMI F47 and IEEE standards. So only whenever we have to separate or trip the microgrid or separate the microgrid, only if we have to adhere to SEMI F47 and IEEE standards. In any system, some degree of voltage unbalance always will be there, even under normal conditions. Okay, don't expect that all the feeders will have equal load and the loads will be always balanced. There will be some small amount of unbalance all the time. Now the under voltage tolerance limit of the microgrid. So how much we can tolerate the under voltage? It depends on many factors like transformer connections, grounding points within the microgrid, etc. Another issue is the sensitivity to voltage unbalance of loads. Some loads will be very highly voltage sensitive. Micro sources and other distribution equipment should be considered to determine the criteria for establishing the under voltage tolerance limit. So under voltage tolerance limit also depends on the voltage sensitive loads which are connected to the feeders. A voltage imbalance may be caused internally or external to the microgrid. It need not be always internal to the microgrid. Sometimes because of some imbalance in the grid, an imbalance may occur in the microgrid. So we need to incorporate an intelligent controller in the protection control module at the PCC to make a proper decision of separating the microgrid from the utility. Open phases. This is another issue which will arise in any power system. Sometimes some of the fuses will blow out, making one particular phase open. Okay, so any fuse between the utility and the PCC, if it is blown out, it will lead to an open phase. So it is better to avoid a fuse between the PCC and the utility. So detecting a non-fault open phase is very difficult. If an open phase happens because of a fault, then it can be easily located, but otherwise it is difficult to detect. Now this open phase conditions, this is very hazardous to transformers, microsources, because this will lead to excessive overcurrents, over voltages, and it will damage the microsources, transformers, etc. Also, if somebody is working on the line, this may cause problems for the persons working on the line. So this is what I told you, fuses between the PCC and the utility substation should be discouraged or incorporate protection against open phase condition. So a fuse is discouraged between the PCC and the utility substation. Now we come to separation from exporting microgrids. Microgrids we can classify into importing microgrid and exporting. Importing microgrid means we will be only taking power from the grid. We are not giving any power to the grid. Exporting means we are giving to the grid also, or we are selling, we are having a contract to sell certain amount of energy, and this energy we have to pump to the grid. Or in short, the generation will exceed the microgrid load requirement. So utility contingency, a problem or a issue in the utility may lead to an unintentional power flow from the microgrid to the utility. This is a dangerous situation. So if the microgrid is an importing microgrid, so we should employ a reverse power relay, and this relay should be connected to the circuit breaker to island the microgrid in case of a reverse flow of power. But in an exporting microgrid, we cannot use a reverse power relay because we have a contractual obligation. We have a contract with somebody to supply power. So in any exporting microgrid, there will be excess generation than its maximum load. So its impedance ratio X by R is close to that of utility. So this is the major difference between an importing microgrid and an exporting microgrid. So implementing an exporting microgrid, you have to redesign the protection and control systems, and this is under research right now. And finally, we come to the last point, which is synchronization. So with multiple microsources located at different places, we should have an automatic resynchronizing scheme, and this should be implemented in the protection control module. The protection control module should also have refined controls like delayed resynchronizing during storm conditions, where these disturbances may be frequent, and communication facilities with at least the larger microsources. So with that, we complete this part of the various islanding scenarios of microgrid, and these are some of the references you should go through. And with that, we wind up this session. This is Dr. Unnikrishnan PC signing off. Thank you very much.